I'm John McClain with Team Armscor. And one of the things that I noticed this quarantine has caused, or one of the byproducts from it, is that we've caused an influx of brand new gun owners. And it's absolutely great, especially for our Second Amendment rights. People are starting to understand that the Second Amendment was never just about hunting. It's always been about self-defense and the ability to protect ourselves, our communities, even our nation. Okay, so while that's great, one of the things that I know when I first purchased my first firearm, one of the things I kind of wish people had talked a little bit more about was the safety aspect. And with when I started 10 years ago, and I'm sure, and I'm definitely not the oldest person to ever start shooting or anything like that, but there were just certain aspects, like some gaps in my knowledge about firearm safety. I always just assumed that, well, you got to get a big old safe. You got to get a safe that has a combination lock that's going to cost you $1,000, $2,000 or anything like that. Well, nowadays there's a lot of products out there that can help you cut back the cost without sacrificing the security that you can safely store your firearms away from children, criminals, and stuff like that, and yet still have quick access in order to be able to defend yourself. Now, this is not a paid product advertisement by any means necessary. This is a product that I actually do use, and it was designed and developed by a really good friend of mine and a great competition shooter named Dylan. Now, Dylan started this company called Stopbox, okay, and essentially this is something. It's not really meant to be a safe for keeping the guns out of the criminal's hands necessarily. If a criminal breaks into your house, he's gonna do whatever he can to either get the guns out of the safe or to transport the entire safe or anything like that itself, and then try and break it at that point. But this is one of the best ways that I've found to be able to keep a firearm loaded in your house, or even just kind of out and about with you, that doesn't require any batteries, doesn't require a key, doesn't require necessarily a combination that you have to punch in. But he's got in two different colors here. We've got the regular black one and then the FD green one. Now, the thing with this is that these tumblers here are your locking mechanism. Okay, so the way he's got it designed is that you punch in your index finger, your pinky finger, and then once you have those pushed in, then you can push the thumb one in, and then you can open the case. It's meant to be on a flat surface there, okay? So the reason why he has that design set up that way is because it's one of the more difficult ones for someone that hasn't practiced to do, but also most children can't do that. Most children can't physically get their hand to fit in these positions, and because of that, you're able to keep a loaded firearm in here and safely stored away from your children. And once it's actually got a firearm in it, it's a lot easier to open it up. Okay, so I've got one of my Rock Island Armory single stack 40s in here, and as you can see, it fits the entire gun in there. Now, again, it's a way that you can safely store your firearm loaded and ready to go, but if you need it, you're able to access it really quickly. However, once it's locked in there, it's not going anywhere, and no kid can necessarily push all the buttons to try and open this thing up. So, very, very inexpensive option for you to be able to store your firearm loaded and ready to go. But it's discreet enough that, if you just saw that laying on a counter, you wouldn't really think much of it. You might think, okay, maybe it's some sort of pedestal that you put a flower pot on or something like that. And yet, again, it's an option. If you have friends coming over or something like that, and they've got kids and whatnot, then obviously I'm going to suggest that you always keep your firearms locked away and secure. But as an option to be able to have one that can be easily accessed by you or another adult that knows how to use the product, but with keeping it out of the hands of children that maybe don't have the firearms education or that want to feel a little snoopy and sneaky and want to check out the gun, it's a great option. And again, this is something that I don't think you would just leave out and just let kids have a run-up. It's more so that you would have it, and then if you were done in this room and you wanted to go into the living room, you would just bring a whole case with you and set it down next to you. So it's still something that's going to be under your supervision. So it's not like the kids, are going to find it and then sneak into it and try and figure out how to break open into it or anything like that. But, it was a great option that I saw and found. And, I got to say thanks to Dylan for making a product like this, because I've got a brand new a 3-month-old living in the house with me now. And as she gets older, she's gonna start to crawl and eventually start to walk and start to get into things that she's not supposed to. So this is a great option for someone like me, where I can have a loaded firearm ready to go to defend myself and my family, my community. However, it's secure enough that I know that my little one is not going to be able to get access to it. I can have that peace of mind. So that's just something for the first-time buyers out there. Understand, look at all your options that are out there. You've got a great plethora amount of options as far as firearm security and safely storing your firearms. It doesn't necessarily always have to be that big $4,000 safe that you think you need to buy. There are some great options out there. If you're looking for something that's small, compact for the firearm that you just purchased, if it's a handgun or something like that, then I would highly suggest you guys check out the Stop Box. So I'm John McClain with Team Armscor, and this is this episode of the Quarantine Files.